healthy teenager suddenly died with her face horribly twisted in fear. The police could not find any clues. There was no killer, no weapon, only a videotape. Behind this videotape lies a mystery so terrifying that it might keep you awake at night. Friends, today we are going to explain the suspense-filled horror movie, The Ring, without wasting any time. Let's get straight into the story. The movie begins with Katie and Becca watching television. Katie is talking about how watching TV can affect our brains. Becca tells Katie that she can watch whatever she wants and hands her the remote. Katie immediately turns the television off to keep themselves from getting bored. Becca asks Katie if she has ever heard about a videotape that causes people to die within 7 days of watching it. Katie asks, "What tape are you talking about?" Becca says it's supposedly a normal videotape. Anyone who watches it starts feeling scared. In the video, a woman suddenly appears on a television screen as the viewer keeps watching. The woman seems to stare directly at them through the TV. Then, as soon as the video ends, the phone rings. The person on the other end says that the viewer will die within 7 days. After hearing this, Katie looks very worried and asks where Becca heard that story. Becca says that someone at college was talking about it. Katie keeps asking her seriously who told her about the tape. Becca becomes confused and asks what is wrong with her. Katie finally admits that she has watched the tape herself. She also says that Josh watched it with her. Becca is surprised and reminds her that she spent last weekend with her friends. Katie reveals that she actually spent the weekend at a cabin with Josh and some of their friends. While they were there, they found a strange videotape. At first, they thought it was just some kind of prank. However, as soon as the tape ended, the phone rang. Today is the 7th day since they watched that tape. The moment Katie says this, she suddenly starts feeling unwell. Becca asks if she is trying to scare her. Katie suddenly starts laughing. Becca realizes that Katie is probably joking with her, but right then, the phone rings. As soon as the phone starts ringing, Katie becomes frightened. Seeing her reaction, Becca says, "So you really did watch that tape?" Katie quietly answers, "Yes." At that moment, a terrifying situation begins to unfold. Becca answers the phone and stands there silently for a few seconds. Meanwhile, Katie becomes increasingly nervous. Then she realizes that it is only her mother calling. She relaxes and starts talking to her mother normally. Just then, Katie notices that the television screen is flickering strangely. Rain begins pouring outside. The refrigerator door slowly opens on its own. Katie runs over and closes it, but she can already feel that something is wrong. Frightened, she walks upstairs. As she climbs the stairs, she notices water on the floor. The water seems to be coming from her bedroom. She slowly opens the door and walks inside. Suddenly, something from the videotape appears and brutally kills her. Scene is truly chilling. The scene then changes. We see a quiet young boy drawing something after school. His teacher is sitting nearby. At that moment, his mother arrives while talking on the phone. The boy's name is Aidan. As soon as he sees his mother, he says that he will wait in the car and leaves with his school bag. His mother realizes that he is upset because she arrived late. Just as she is about to leave, Aidan's teacher asks if they can talk for a moment. The teacher addresses her as Mrs. Keller. Aidan's mother asks her to call her Rachel instead. From this, we can understand that the relationship between Aidan's parents is not very good. The teacher tells Rachel that Aidan does all of his work perfectly and rarely needs any help. Rachel asks if that is a problem. The teacher says that the issue is something else. She recently learned that Aidan's cousin died a few days ago. Rachel explains that Aidan and Katie were very close. They used to see each other several times every week and were good friends. The teacher then asks if Aidan has said anything about Katie's death. Rachel replies that Aidan does not like talking very much. The teacher says that doesn't necessarily mean he has nothing to say. Rachel asks what she means. The teacher replies that Aidan may be expressing himself in a different way. She then shows Rachel several drawings made by Aidan. The drawings are unusually disturbing. They show a deep well and a mysterious girl with long black hair covering her face. Rachel tells the teacher that she is a wonderful teacher, but Katie died only 3 days ago, so such drawings are probably normal under the circumstances. However, the teacher surprises her by saying that Aidan drew these pictures last week. Later that night, Rachel tucks Aidan into bed. Before going to sleep, Aidan says, "We don't have much time." Rachel thinks he is talking about how busy she has been lately. She tells him that things will calm down soon. Aidan replies, "You don't understand what I mean. I'm talking about before death." Rachel tells him that he has plenty of time ahead of him. Aidan then asks, "Can we know when we're going to die?" Rachel answers, "No, we can never know that." Aidan responds, "Katie knew when she was going to die." Rachel immediately asks, "What?" Katie said. Aidan replies that Katie told him she didn't have much time left. Then he simply says, "Good night," and falls asleep. The next scene shows Rachel and Aidan attending Katie's memorial service. Aidan sadly places a flower beside Katie's photograph. Rachel watches him and stands beside him to comfort him. Afterward, she goes to comfort Ruthie, Katie's mother and Rachel's sister. Once everyone else leaves, Ruthie tells Rachel that she has done a lot of research on the internet. She says she couldn't find a single case where a healthy teenager's heart suddenly stopped working for no reason. She has spoken to 3 different doctors, but none of them can explain why her daughter died. Rachel says that she doesn't understand it either, since Rachel works as a journalist. Ruthie asks her to investigate. She believes there must be something important they still don't know. Ruthie then says that she wouldn't be pushing Rachel this hard if she hadn't seen Katie's face after she died. As Rachel leaves the memorial service, she meets some of Katie's friends. They are talking about Becca. According to them, Becca was so terrified by what happened that she had to be admitted to a mental hospital. During the conversation, one of Katie's friends says that everything seems to be connected to a videotape. Rachel immediately asks, "What tape are you talking about? And who told you about it?" One of Katie's friends replies that Katie's boyfriend, Josh, told them about the tape. Rachel then asks, "Why don't we go talk to Josh?" The friend answers that Josh is dead. Surprised, Rachel asks how he died. The friend says that he heard Josh took his own life on the same night Katie died. This information makes Rachel even more suspicious. Later, Rachel goes to pick up Aidan and finds him inside Katie's room. Looking at a photograph of himself and Katie, Rachel asks him why he is in Katie's room. Aidan calmly replies, "This isn't Katie's room anymore," while looking through one of Katie's photo albums. Rachel finds the address of a photography studio. She decides to visit it. At the studio, Rachel finds many photographs of Katie that were taken after the trip to the cabin. Most of the pictures appear normal. However, in one photograph, everyone's faces look horribly distorted. The image immediately catches Rachel's attention. The next day, Rachel gathers several newspapers and begins researching the deaths. As she goes through the reports, she discovers that the 4 teenagers who visited the cabin all died around the same time. Each of them died under strange circumstances. His discovery raises serious questions in Rachel's mind. She becomes convinced that the cabin is somehow connected to their deaths. Because of this, she decides to visit the place herself. The cabin is located at a resort called Shelter Mountain, and Rachel arrives at the resort and shows the manager photographs of Katie and her friends. The manager immediately recognizes them. He tells Rachel that the teenagers stayed in cabin 12. He also mentions that they left without paying their bill. Jokingly, he says that perhaps they didn't enjoy their stay because the television channels weren't working properly. Since the channels were unavailable, The resort had provided guests with several pre-recorded videotapes for entertainment. Hearing this, Rachel becomes even more interested. She tells the manager that she is tired and would like to rest. In cabin 12 for a while, the manager allows her to enter. Once inside the cabin, Rachel carefully examines everything. She checks every corner of the room. She searches through drawers and furniture. But after a thorough search, she finds nothing unusual. Then she notices a videotape. Unable to ignore it, she decides to watch it. Rachel inserts the tape and presses play. As the video begins, she feels increasingly uncomfortable. The images are strange, disturbing, and difficult to understand. One unsettling image follows another. The entire tape feels like a nightmare. When the video finally ends, the room falls silent. Then, suddenly, the telephone beside her starts ringing. Rachel freezes. Slowly, she picks up the receiver. A harsh voice speaks from the other side. Only 2 words are spoken. 7 days. Rachel is instantly terrified. She drops the phone and rushes out of the cabin. The countdown has now begun. Thursday, day 1. Rain is falling. Aidan gets ready for school. Before leaving, he says goodbye to his mother. While walking to school, a man suddenly stops in front of him. The man looks at Aidan for a moment and then walks away. His name is Noah. Later in the movie, we will learn more about him. Meanwhile, Rachel visits Noah and shows him the distorted photograph. Noah examines the picture carefully. He believes the distortion might simply be a camera effect. According to him, modern cameras often create strange visual errors or filter-like effects. Because Noah works as a photo analyst, he doesn't think the matter is serious. He asks Rachel which camera was used to take the photograph. Rachel hands him the camera to test it. Noah takes several pictures of Rachel. When the photographs develop, something strange happens. Rachel's face also appears. Distorted in the images, Noah assumes that the camera itself must be faulty. He still refuses to believe anything supernatural is involved. Noah then reminds Rachel that she wanted him to watch a videotape. Rachel takes out the tape, but hesitates. She tells him that she doesn't really want him to watch it. Ignoring her concern, Noah watches the entire tape after it ends. He laughs it off. He suggests that some student probably created the video as a joke. According to him, there is nothing serious about it. But at that exact moment, the telephone rings. Rachel refuses to answer it. Instead, she asks Noah if the tape frightened him at all. Noah replies that there was nothing scary about it. Rachel then tells him that, for people who've already died, Noah asks what that has to do with watching the tape. He points out that both of them have watched it and nothing has happened. Rachel quietly responds, "Something happens after 7 days." She then explains that she wants to learn more about the tape before it's too late. Noah finally agrees to help. He tells her to make a copy of the tape and send it to him so he can investigate further. The following day, Rachel goes to her office and makes a copy of the videotape. Rachel visits Noah's studio. The two of them begin researching the tape. As Noah examines it, he notices something unusual. There are no tracking marks on the recording. The numbers are unclear and difficult to identify. While they are discussing the tape, Noah's assistant enters the room. They introduce themselves. Noah tells his assistant about the videotape. At this point, Rachel realizes that Noah still isn't taking the matter seriously. This leads to a small argument between them. Frustrated, Rachel takes the copied tape and leaves the studio. While walking outside, she notices a tall ladder. The moment she sees it, she remembers the exact same ladder from the videotape. The image stays in her mind as she continues on her way. Saturday, day. The scene begins at the mental hospital where Becca is being treated. Rachel has come to speak with her. Rachel asks if she remembers anything Katie said that night or if she knows how Katie died. Becca remains completely silent. Rachel continues questioning her. She asks whether Katie ever mentioned anything about the videotape when Becca still refuses to answer. Rachel asks if she knows something. Finally, Becca looks at her and says, "You'll find out." Then she grabs Rachel's hand and shows her 4 fingers. Only 4 days remain. The message is clear. Rachel is running out of time, determined to find answers. Rachel visits a large studio where she can examine the videotape more carefully. She prints several still frames from the video and begins studying them one by one. Every image seems strange and meaningless at first glance, but Rachel believes they must be connected somehow. Sunday. Day 4. Rachel visits a library, using books and maps. She starts searching for places that resemble the locations shown in the videotape. One image catches her attention in particular, a lighthouse. Since the lighthouse appears repeatedly in the video, Rachel begins looking through books containing photographs of different lighthouses. After a long search, she finally finds a match. The lighthouse is located on Moscow Island. It looks exactly like the one from the videotape. Rachel immediately searches for Moscow Island online while researching. She discovers an old photograph of a woman. The woman from the videotape that her name is Anna Morgan. Rachel continues searching for information about Anna Morgan. Soon she finds several old newspaper articles connected to horse shows and horse breeding. Digging through newspaper archives, Rachel uncovers a number of disturbing facts. Anna Morgan was the wife of the owner of a horse ranch on Moscow Island. One day, for no apparent reason, the horses suddenly went mad. They began running wildly before eventually charging into the sea and dying. Around the same time, Anna started suffering from severe psychological problems. She was receiving treatment from a psychiatrist. As her condition worsened, she eventually took her own life. Rachel is shocked when she realizes that footage of Anna's suicide appears inside the videotape. Even stranger, after Anna died, all of the horses returned to normal. The mysterious events seemed to stop. While organizing her research notes, Rachel notices something unsettling. Without realizing it, she has begun doing the same thing Katie once did. Whenever she sees photographs of people, she finds herself blacking out or distorting their faces with dark ink. The realization disturbs her deeply. Monday, day 5. Meanwhile, Noah stops at a convenience store to buy some supplies. When he asks for cigarettes, the shopkeeper casually tells him, "If you keep smoking like that, you'll be dead before long. My brother used to smoke 2 packs a day." As Noah looks toward the store's security monitor, he suddenly freezes. His own face appears, horribly distorted on the screen. Everyone else's face looks perfectly normal. Only his image is affected. The sight terrifies him. For the first time, Noah begins to wonder if Rachel was telling the truth. He quickly leaves the store. At the same time, Rachel is thinking about Aidan. Before traveling to Moscow Island, she needs to arrange someone to look after him. While talking on the phone, she suddenly starts coughing. It feels as though something is stuck in her throat. When she tries to pull it out, she discovers a long strand-like object coming from her mouth. Frightened, she looks around. Then she hears a noise coming from another room. Rachel walks toward the sound. Inside, she sees a little girl, wearing a white dress. The girl's wet hair covers her face. She is sitting silently on a chair. Rachel slowly approaches her and calls out. Suddenly, the girl grabs Rachel's hand. Instantly, Rachel experiences a terrifying vision. She finds herself inside a laboratory. Her entire body is wrapped in wires. Before she can understand what is happening, she suddenly wakes up. It was only a dream, but the mark left on her hand is still there. Rachel immediately goes to check on Aidan. His bedroom is empty. Then she hears sounds coming from the television room. She rushes downstairs. To her horror, Aidan is watching the cursed videotape. Rachel immediately covers his eyes. She rips the tape from the VCR and throws it away. Panicking, she begins screaming. Aidan calmly explains that he couldn't sleep, so he decided to watch the tape. At that moment, the telephone begins ringing. Rachel refuses to answer. The phone rings again. This time, she picks it up and shouts, "Leave us alone." But it isn't the mysterious caller. It's Noah. Noah finally admits that strange things have started happening to him as well. Slowly, he is beginning to believe that the curse might actually be real. Rachel then reveals something even worse. Aidan has watched the videotape too. The situation is no longer just about saving themselves. Now, they have to save their son. The following day, Rachel leaves Aidan with Ruthie and prepares to travel to Moscow Island. Meanwhile, Aidan begins drawing strange pictures. Many of them contain a ring-shaped symbol. Others show horses, chairs, and unfamiliar houses. Around this time, Noah apologizes to Aidan. He admits that he has not been a good father. He feels guilty for the pain Rachel and Aidan have gone through. Afterward, Rachel and Noah begin their journey together. During the trip, Rachel shares everything she has learned about Anna Morgan. Anna was once a happy woman. She had a loving husband, a successful horse ranch, and a comfortable life. Yet, somehow she lost her sanity and eventually committed suicide, but Rachel cannot understand why. She also explains that many victims reported seeing a ring shortly before their deaths. Since Rachel's time is running out, she asks Noah to investigate the hospital where Anna was treated. Meanwhile, Rachel will travel to Moscow Island and speak with Anna's husband, who is still alive. Rachel boards a ferry to cross the ocean. During the journey, one of the horses on board suddenly becomes frightened after seeing her. The animal panics and jumps into the water. Tragically, it falls beneath the ferry's engine and is killed in a brutal accident. The incident reminds Rachel of the horse deaths connected to Anna Morgan. At the same time, Noah attempts to obtain Anna's medical records because the hospital refuses to release confidential patient information. He secretly searches for the records himself. Eventually, he discovers that Anna spent her final days at this hospital before her death. He also learns that Anna suffered multiple miscarriages and was unable to have children. Another document mentions a psychiatric session recorded on tape, SMO-15. That recording may contain important information. As Noah continues investigating, blood suddenly begins dripping from his nose. The curse is getting closer. During her research, Rachel had also discovered another important detail. Anna Morgan had a daughter. After a long journey, Rachel finally arrives at the Morgan Ranch on Moscow Island. As soon as she reaches the property, she realizes something unsettling. This is the same house shown in the videotape. Even the broken mirror that appeared in the video is still there. Rachel begins questioning Mr. Morgan about his past. However, no matter how many questions she asks, he refuses to talk about his family. Then Rachel shows him a mark and asks about his daughter. Suddenly, Mr. Morgan becomes furious. He insists that he never had a daughter. Without saying anything else, he forces Rachel to leave. After leaving the house, Rachel notices something strange. One of the houses Aidan drew looks exactly like the Morgan residence. Wanting answers, Rachel immediately calls Aidan. At that moment, Aidan is sitting alone, drawing countless ring-shaped symbols. During the call, Aidan tells Rachel that a girl keeps showing him visions. He says he simply draws the things she shows him. The conversation leaves Rachel deeply unsettled. Determined to learn more, Rachel visits the island's only doctor. The doctor has lived on Moscow Island his entire life. When Rachel asks about Anna Morgan, the doctor begins sharing what he knows. According to him, Anna desperately wanted to become a mother. However, for reasons nobody understood, she was unable to have children. Then, one summer, Anna suddenly arrived on the island with a little girl. She claimed that she had adopted the child, but nobody ever knew where the girl came from. The child's name was Samara. At first, Anna was overjoyed. She loved Samara very much, but after Samara arrived, strange things began happening. Anna started experiencing terrifying visions. She often talked about them with the doctor around the same time. Mysterious incidents began occurring all over the island. It was as if the entire place had become cursed. According to the doctor, Samara was not a normal child. Because of these problems, both Anna and Samara were eventually sent to a psychiatric hospital on the mainland. After they left the island, the strange events gradually stopped. Meanwhile, Noah continues searching for answers. He finally locates information about the psychiatric recording. However, when he checks the records room, the tape is missing. The records show that the last person to access it was Mr. Morgan. Noah realizes that Morgan may have taken the tape himself. He immediately tries to contact Rachel. Unfortunately, bad weather prevents communication. At the same time, Rachel secretly returns to the Morgan house. She begins searching through the property once again. Eventually, she discovers the missing psychiatric tape. Rachel immediately plays it. The recording contains footage from one of Samara's psychiatric sessions. What she learns is horrifying. Samara never slept. She enjoyed harming living creatures. During the session, she says that her mother loves her very much. However, her father does not love her. According to Samara, her father loves his horses more than he loves her. She also admits something terrifying. She says she will never stop hurting others. Suddenly, Mr. Morgan attacks Rachel from behind. He grabs the television and tape player and drags them into the bathroom. The bathtub has already been filled with water. An electrical circuit has been connected nearby. Morgan explains that Samara shows terrible visions to everyone. Even the horses were not spared. And she will never stop doing these things. He tells Rachel that this is why she has come so far. Rachel desperately pleads with him. She explains that her son has become involved in all of this and needs to be saved. But Morgan simply says that Samara will kill everyone. Then, without hesitation, he electrocutes himself in the bathtub. Rachel watches in horror. The shocking scene sends her into a panic. Just then, Noah finally arrives and helps calm her down. Together, Rachel and Noah continue searching the property. Near the house, they discover an old barn. Inside, they find a tall ladder leading to a small room. Above it is a tiny playroom. This is where Samara used to stay. Morgan apparently kept her isolated there because Anna's mental condition was getting worse. He believed Samara was responsible, according to what they discover. Samara hated the sound of the horses because she possessed supernatural abilities from a very young age. She used those powers against them. The horses that ran into the ocean were likely driven there by Samara herself. While examining the room, Noah notices something hidden beneath the wallpaper. Together, he and Rachel tear it away. Behind it is a drawing of a tree. The moment Rachel sees it, she remembers something. She saw that exact tree at Shelter Mountain in the place where the cursed videotape was found. This means there must be a connection between the resort and everything that happened to Samara. Realizing this, Rachel and Noah immediately leave for Shelter Mountain Inn. When they arrive, they begin searching for clues. However, they cannot find anything useful. Time is running out. This is Rachel's 7th day, according to the curse. She should die today, but despite all their efforts, they still have not discovered the final piece of the mystery. Rachel begins losing hope. She believes the investigation has reached a dead end. If she dies, Noah will have to continue alone. More importantly, he must find a way to save Aidan. Frustrated and overwhelmed, Rachel begins smashing objects inside the room. Then, something unexpected happens. A jar filled with marbles falls and shatters. The marbles roll across the floor, but instead of scattering randomly, they gather in one specific spot. Rachel immediately notices this. Something must be hidden beneath the Floorboards. Noah grabs a tool and starts breaking through the wooden floor. After several moments of digging, they discover something unbelievable. Beneath the cabin lies a hidden well. Massive stone had been covering it the entire time. Mystery of the videotape is finally leading them to its source. Rachel and Noah stare into the darkness below. To measure the depth of the well, they drop a stone inside. Several seconds pass. No sound comes back. The well seems impossibly deep. At the same time, strange things begin happening inside the room. Water starts rising through the floor. The nails in the wooden boards begin pulling themselves out one by one. Then a strange insect crawls up from inside the well. Moments later, a section of the floor breaks apart, causing an old television set to slide across the room. The television crashes into Rachel and knocks her directly into the well. The sudden accident shocks Noah. Rachel falls into the cold water below, panicking. Noah rushes away to find a rope and pull her out. Inside the well, Rachel begins examining the walls. She discovers pieces of human fingernails embedded in the stone. At the same time, she starts experiencing strange visions. Rachel repeatedly calls Noah's name from below. Suddenly, the opening above the well closes completely. Noah struggles to find a rope. Everything seems to be working against him. Meanwhile, Rachel notices strands of hair floating in the water. Then a hand suddenly grabs her. Immediately, she begins seeing visions from the past. Rachel sees Samara standing beside the well. Then Anna Morgan approaches from behind. Without warning, Anna places a plastic bag over Samara's head and suffocates her. Afterward, Anna throws Samara into the well. As Samara falls into the water, she regains consciousness. By then, Anna has already sealed the opening above. Trapped inside the darkness, Samara desperately searches for a way out. At one point, she notices a small beam of light shining through a crack in the stones. The shape of the light looks exactly like a ring, the same ring that appears throughout the videotape, but Samara does not die. Immediately, she survives inside the well for 7 days. For 7 long days, she remains trapped in complete darkness. Only after the 7th day does she finally die. After witnessing the truth, Rachel feels deep sympathy for Samara. She begins searching through the water and eventually finds Samara's remains. At that moment, Noah manages to reach the top of the well and calls out to her as light shines down into the well. Samara's remains begin breaking apart. Soon, only a skeleton remains in Rachel's hands. With Noah's help, Rachel finally climbs out of the well. Shortly afterward, the police arrive. The 7th day has passed. Rachel is still alive. The curse appears to be broken. Thinking about everything Samara endured during those 7 days fills Rachel with sadness. Meanwhile, Noah feels relieved to see Rachel alive and safe. Rachel arranges for Samara's remains to receive a proper burial. She believes Samara simply wanted someone to discover her tragic story. However, one question still bothers her. If Anna wanted a child so badly, why would she do such a terrible thing to Samara after accepting her as her daughter? Even so, it seems that everything is finally over. During the investigation, Rachel and Noah have also grown closer to each other. Their relationship has started to improve. Later, Rachel picks Aidan up from Ruthie's house as they drive home together. Aidan is happy to see his parents getting along again. Rachel also notices something important. The strange mark on her hand has disappeared. It seems that the curse is gone for the first time. Rachel believes they are finally free. Everything appears to have a happy ending. Noah drops Rachel and Aidan off at home and then leaves. The following morning, Rachel and Aidan wake up late. Aidan suddenly asks an unusual question. What did you do with that little girl? Is she still in the dark? Rachel replies, her name was Samara. We helped her. She's free now, and she can finally rest in peace. Aidan's reaction is completely unexpected. He looks alarmed. Then he asks, What have you done? Why did you help her? Rachel is confused. Aidan continues. Didn't you know? She never sleeps. Suddenly, blood begins flowing from Aidan's nose. Rachel immediately panics. When she checks him, she discovers something horrifying. The mark has returned. The curse is still active. At the same time, Noah is alone in his studio. The atmosphere is completely silent as he picks up a coffee cup from a newspaper. A ring-shaped mark appears underneath it. Then the television beside him suddenly turns on by itself. Static fills the screen. Noah walks over and switches it off. As he turns away, the television turns back on. This time, the image of the well appears on the screen. Meanwhile, Rachel finally understands something is wrong. After hearing Aidan's words, she realizes that today is Noah's 7th day. She immediately tries calling him. The phone rings, repeatedly, but Noah never answers. Inside the studio, Noah slowly approaches the television. On the screen, he sees the well. Then he sees Samara. She begins climbing out of the well, step by step. She moves closer to the screen. Noah backs away in fear. At the same time, Rachel races toward Noah's apartment. Suddenly, the impossible happens. Samara reaches the edge of the television screen. Then she crawls out of it. Her body is soaking wet. Her long black hair covers her face. She slowly crawls across the floor. Noah, terrified. Noah continues backing away, but there is nowhere left to run. Eventually, Samara reaches him before he can escape. She reveals her horrifying face. A terrifying scream fills the room, and Noah dies instantly. Rachel arrives moments later. Since the elevator is not working, she runs up the stairs. Water is spread across the floor. The apartment is in complete disarray. The television screen is flickering. Noah is sitting motionless in a chair with his back turned. Rachel slowly approaches him. Then she turns the chair around. The sight of Noah's face causes her to scream. Face is horribly twisted in terror, just like Katie's, just like every other victim. As Rachel leaves, she notices Noah's current girlfriend arriving in the elevator. Rachel quickly removes any evidence that she was there. Then she returns home. She tells Aidan to go to his room. Now overwhelmed with guilt, Rachel blames herself for everything. But one question keeps haunting her. Why did Samara spare her? Why was Noah killed, but not her? While thinking about it, Rachel burns the videotape in the fireplace. Then, another vision suddenly returns to her mind. She remembers Samara saying that she would never stop hurting people. She would never stop. Then Rachel notices something beneath the sofa. A copy of the videotape. Suddenly, she understands everything. She had copied the tape. Then she showed that copy to Noah. That is why she survived. The curse was passed on. If someone copies the tape and shows it to another person, Samara's story continues. The person who watches the copied tape becomes the next victim, and the person who made the copy survives. For a brief moment, everyone believed Samara was an innocent victim, but in the end, the truth is revealed. Samara is pure evil. In the final scene, Rachel creates another copy of the videotape. Aidan watches her. Then he asks, "Are we going to show it to someone else?" Rachel does not answer, but her silence says everything. To save her son, she is willing to pass the curse on to another person, and with that chilling revelation, The Ring, 2002, comes to an end.